Hello, welcome to the Swedish DMP here. Welcome to part 2 in how to paint your miniature Warhammer skull. So in the last video I was spraying this white, and now I'm gonna add some layers. So I start with Warhammer red and I paint very thin colors here. You can use whatever color that is pretty dark, pretty cool to use. I'm going to play some colors in the eyes too there. Now I'm using some Calvin green. Very thin. Remember to using this process. So the idea in this is to paint thin colors, and have some kind of variation. When you look on a skull, there could be green, there could be some red, there could be some brown, there could be some purple. There could be a lot of different variation in the colors. So why I'm not just painting this whole skull in just one color is to create a more realistic effect with different variations, and just adding them very thin on the skull. And now I'm adding Steel Legion drab. So this process is about 5 thin colors to paint up a decent basing. And what I'm gonna do next here is I'm gonna dry brush this, and then you will have to have just a little bit water on the pencil and then more white. Next off, we're using some Mornfang brown, adding some very thin layers here onto the Corax white we were dry brushing. And that color was almost dried out, but I could still use some of it, so I was taking a little color on the pencil, but it turned out that I had to take a lot of water to use that color. Just a very white color, doesn't have to be exactly what I'm using here. This is just an experiment of how to create lots of different thin layers to build up a very cool variation. So when I'm painting red in the eyes here, I was using the color that was left to just spread it out on the skull here. Because you can still just take whatever color that you think is really cool and just spread it out with thin layers. Now I'm adding a little bit of Abaddon black on the teeth here, as you can see, and I'm using lots of water into this because I'm painting into the nose on the lines between the teeth. So this is something you can do on a Space Marine too. And now we have Arctic white, so this is my brightest white color. So I'm using this around the eyes, around the most showing part in the skull. So a little bit of on the cheeks, on the sides here, following the cheeks. Just adding it to the brightest areas, because always when you take a look at something, there is always some part that is more lighter than the others. On the skull. And then you can just do some kind of little bit of back and forth technique and just try to covering all those areas. So maybe I was painting a little bit too much white here on the teeth, but I will darken it down again. So it's just a process of building up the lines and then darkening it down again. And when I was doing this was just an experiment. I had no idea on how to paint these exactly. I'm just adding color, and I hopefully it will turn out realistic. So now I was adding the color that was left on the pencil after I was adding the layer. I was just dry brushing with this. So still there's a lot of variation on the skull underneath, so I'm just dry brushing what's left on this brush here all over the skull, like I used before. And now I'm gonna darkening this down once again. So that's it. Now it creates even more variation, and I'm adding Steel Legion Rab. Maybe I was using too much Steel Legion Rab at the beginning here, but the idea is to take some color, use some water, and just try to glaze it all over the skull. So it's a back and forth process. You never know when you're exactly done, but the thing is to just have a decent amount of colors, very thin colors, that will complete this combination of variation. And now I'm adding Screaming Skull, a very good color to highlight skulls with, and that's why the name is Screaming Skull. I think it suits the skulls. I don't know how many different kind of layers I'm using on this. And here we go, even more Arctic white, just fixing that. And I'm using artificial layer brush, pretty expensive brush, but it is really good on small details. And I should be more careful using this brush because they could be destroyed so fast. But you can use whatever small brush that you have. So I'm using the tip of that brush to just fill in those small details. And as you can see on the skull, there is so much different thin areas that is with a lot of different colors. And sometimes it could be some small areas that has something to just remove, and you can just use your fingers or some surface on the pencil to just remove it fast. So I'm still just highlighting this very carefully. Highlighting on the sides of the skull, highlighting, and now I wanted to create some textures on the skull here, because there will be some areas that is brighter than others. There will be some surfaces that is much whiter than they are brown. So now I'm going into this step where I'm just placing some more white, some more brighter color all over the skull. So this is the last part, and I was thinking I should just paint with this very thin color onto the whole skull here, and make this looks like there is a lot of different colors on it. So in the end here you will see the result, and I hope you like this video. I hope you learned something about how to add different colors, how to build the layers up, and you can use this method on everything. You can use it on metals, on skin tones, on leather, and I see you in the next video. I hope you're having a great day, everyone. Take care. DMP signing off.
retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.